Heading out south, I-55. Gonna take a little scenic drive down Interstate 49. Just looking for a good time. Better buy another case of beer, 'cause you know you're gonna need it here. Time to go. Yeah, we're gonna start the show. It's time to call your friends and let the fun begin. Party's on. Yeah,
hey, there's one thing that we can all agree on, and that's that we love catching fish. But you know what's even better? If you can catch fish on a rod that you built yourself. This week, I'm going to show you how to build your own bass rod. Don't miss this episode. This is Hook and Hunt TV. Hey, so the first thing we're going to start off with is the blank. Now, most of the blanks come in a black color, okay? And these are Bushido blanks that I'm using for this rod. It's going to be a 7-foot heavy action jig rod. I'm going to use this, and it's going to be a bait casting rod. I'm going to use this for jig fishing as well as for throwing a Tokyo rig. So I need a rod with a lot of backbone in it. So this is actually a 7.3 Bushido blank, from American Tackle. And I order everything from Angler's Workshop. And you can find out everything there, including videos and everything, how to build them. Hey, I learned, so can you. And this is the cool part about it. Now I customed the rod a little bit. I wanted just a rod that was going to have a little bit more color to it instead of just a black color. So I went to Backbone Custom Rod Company, and they do painting. They can paint anything, and the job they do on them are absolutely phenomenal. This is a lime green into a white, and when you see this rod finished, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So anyway, that's it. 7-foot heavy action rod. That's what I wanted. But the first thing when you build a rod is you have to find where the spline of the rod is, kind of like the backbone of that. So I'll put a piece of tape on the blank, and what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand here and here, and I'm going to roll that blank, okay? There's going to be a spot in there that kind of locks in your hand, and you're going to feel it, okay? Where that spot locks, that's going to be the backbone that you want to put the guides on, that you want to build. So on the inside of that bend is going to be your spinning rods. On the outside of that bend is going to be your bait casting rod. That's how the spline of the rod is found, with your hands like that, and then that's how you're going to build and put your guides on there and start building your rod. But the first thing we have to do is put the handle assembly on. We'll get to that next. This is always the fun part for me, is that's putting on the handle assembly. Now when I line the rod up on my arm, I know pretty much exactly where I want the reel seat to go, and this is going to be a 2-piece, or this is going to be an exposed blank on this reel seat over here. So what I'm using is actually wind grips, and this is the handle assembly that I'm going to put on here. But the first thing I have to do is I have to mix the glue that I'm going to stick these on with. So what I'm using Pro Paste, and it comes in 2 containers, a blue one and a red one. It's quite simple to do this. All I'm really going to do is I'm going to take an equal amount of each one, and I just get these little stirring sticks, and you can easily get these at any hobby store by you. They're very, very inexpensive, and I'm just going to take a little bit of each one. So that's going to be enough out of the blue one. Then I'm going to take some out of the red one here, and I'm going to get the equal pretty much of that, right, like so. There we go. And now I'm going to take these and I'm just going to mix them together. I want them to become one, so the color is going to be about the same. And I'm going to mix this up. It's almost going to become more like an off-color white. Hey, just so you know, I do things a way that I'm learning. I'm just learning this too. There's going to be custom rod builders that are a lot better at this than me. What I'm showing you this from is from a very novice level. So those of you out there who are really great rod builders, please don't criticize on this. What I want to do is I want to get people involved in rod building and taking this from the first step. As time goes by, I'm going to get better, and so will you. It's just like anything else. We start something new and we learn by other people, and we learn by doing. So just please look at it that way. All right, so I'm going to move a little bit of the glue around here a little bit more. Okay, now we've got pretty much on there exactly what I want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the butt right here and I'm going to put it on, but as I put it on, I'm going to turn. Okay, and as I turn, I'm turning that glue in there, and I want it going all the way through until it can't move anymore. There. I have it right like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a towel and I'm going to wipe off that excess, and then we'll go from there.
This segment of Hook and Hunt TV has been brought to you by Covercraft. Protection for whatever you drive.
All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the towel, and there's actually a little chemical here, this isopropyl alcohol. And what I'll do is I'll just dab that, I'll spray a little bit on the towel right there. And what that does, it really helps remove the excess glue. Okay, so I'm going to do that, get that off, glue on there. So right there, there's your rod butt right there. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I want to put on the back side of the reel seat, or where your hand's going to sit on the rod. So now I've got that glue right there. Now this is going to take some work here. Now I'm going to move this down. I've got this really tight because once this is in, I don't want it moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep turning this, and we got it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to install the reel seat. And for those of you who haven't seen this before, I can tell you the first time that I saw it, I was like, I really didn't know that people did it that way, but this is how you do it. So I'm going to make a couple arbor points right here. I've got a thicker one up here since I have a split reel seat, or I have an exposed reel seat design right here. Then I put an arbor toward the back. Now I'm going to line it up on the rod exactly how I want it, which is right there. All right. Now what I have to do is I have to build up the tape. All right, now I have the tape, or I have the arbor point, so a thick enough point to where this is kind of hard to get over. I have to turn it now to be able to fit tight. And that's what I want, because now this is where I'm going to put my adhesive on here. So again, I'm going to get, and here's where I put as much as I can on here. So here we go. We just about have it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my reel seat. I'm going to look at my mark. I know where I want it to be. And now I'm going to slide my reel seat on, adjust to where my handle's going to fit. Look at my mark there. My mark is fine there. My mark is fine right here. And ladies and gentlemen, we just installed a reel seat. I'm going to let this dry for about 24 hours. Next step we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to line up your guides, and we'll start putting the guides on your new jig rod. And now it's time for your Nord Outdoor Power Tip of the Week.
Hi, this is Doug from Nord Outdoor Power, and I'm really proud to introduce the new Steel iMow. Now, what is the Steel iMow? Steel iMow is a robotic mower that goes out and mows your grass. So basically, we program it to go out and it clips off about 1/8 of an inch of the grass, makes your lawn healthier because it's not clipping so much grass. But it goes out there and gives you back your time because it handles that job of keeping the grass short while you're at work, while you're busy on the weekend, and then you're left with just a little bit of trimming to do. Technology's been around for about 20 years. Steel's been making these units in Europe for over 10 years. Come in and take a look at the new Steel iMow. I think you're going to be impressed.
And that was your Nord Outdoor Power Tip of the Week. Hook up with my outdoor power source at nordpower.com. Okay, let's talk about the guide spacing on a rod. As you can see, I have the rod set up here, and I've already got one guide wrapped. But you're like, well, how do you know where to start? Well, I'm using a 7-foot rod here. That's what I'm building on, as we discussed. So I actually have a chart, and you can get this either from American Tackle or from Angler's Workshop, and it will show you from the tip of the rod, and you're going to measure back. So you're going to put your measuring tape, and you're going to measure back. Now, my first guide from the tip of the rod is 2.5 inches, then 5 3/8, then 8 5/8. You get the idea all the way down. So what do? I mark those areas as I lay out the ruler adjacent to the rod, and I mark those areas in there so I know where I'm going to be placing those guides. Now what I'm going to show you next is how we're going to start to wrap those guides. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do a starting knot to start the wrap. So there's my mark. I'm going to wrap around once here, then twice, then I'm going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's that. Now I'm going to step on my winder down here, and we're going to let the line lock itself. Right like that. Boom. I'm going to turn it up. I can see where the line stopped. Now I'm going to take a razor blade. I can get really close right there, cut that off, And now we can start doing our wrap. Okay, so here's how I'm going to put the next guide on. Now again, I understand people do it a different way. This is how I do it. I take the little foot of the guide. That's why line tension is important. This is very tight right now. I'm going to slide this up underneath here. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to do my best to look at the front guide and see if it's lined up. That's pretty close. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start winding that on there and get a couple winds in there to lock it in place. This is what's cool about this though, because now I can stop and I can look and I notice that needs to be moved just a little bit and I can do it. Now I'm going to continue my wind a little bit and I have to bring it back over to cover the front of the guide. So we're going to do that just like so. All right, now I'm going to go back. And again, I said I understand that some guys won't do it this way. This has worked well for me and I really like this. Okay, so here we go. We're moving it back now, wrapping it good. Okay, now I'm going to stop. I'm going to make sure the guide is adjusted good on here, just like that. Now I can take my little burnishing tool and with the magnifying glass here, I can see there's a couple little things I'm going to just move. Threads I'm going to move on here just a little bit more. All right, now we're getting it tighter. I like the way that's looking. Pull this line in here like so. About right there. Now I'm going to continue my wrap. 2, 3, 4, 5. I like it there. Now here's the trick. I'm going to take the razor blade. I'm going to keep this line taut right here. Cut it. Pull it around again. Hold it. I'm sorry if I'm blocking the camera. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that line, put it through the loop there, pull up. I'm going to take the other ends here and pull down. It just pulled my knot through. Now, put my magnifying glass in front of that so I can see it. It's nice and taut. And when I go to epoxy it, I'll never see it. And there is a finished guide.
This segment of Hook and Hunt TV has been brought to you by these and other fine sponsors.
So now the next part of that is to mix the epoxy. So we're going to take this Pro Coat right here and I'm going to take equal parts. And just for the first coat, and I'm going to put 3 coats on, I'm going to put about the size of a dime inside there. Just like so. Good. And now I'm going to mix it up. And I'm going to stir this to about a count of 100 one way and then a count of 100 the other way, making sure that it's white and I try to get all the bubbles inside there to disappear. But hey, while I'm mixing this, why don't you check out one of the bass I just recently caught on one of the other rods I made.
Building a rod to your specifications truly adds to the accomplishment of catching a big fish. I can honestly say it will not only save you money, it will add to the memory of your next big bass.
So here's the completed rod. I'm pretty excited about this. Everything came out great. And as I told you, you're going to be seeing this on future episodes of Hook and Hunt TV this year when we go over jig fishing as well as the Tokyo rig. Hey, make sure you check out Angler's Workshop. Go to anglersworkshop.com. All the videos, all the information, all the components you need to build your own rod, and great people to talk to. If you ever got a question there, you can call them and talk to them. Hey, you can also email me at jim@hookandhunttv.com, and if I can help you out with anything, I gladly will. As I said, I'm a novice. I'm still learning this as well, but what a great way to add to your fishing experience. Hey, thanks so much for joining us this week. Make sure you check out the rest of the episodes this season. It is going to be a good one. God bless you. I'm Jim Crowley. We'll see you soon.